Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss a conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there as a community. We can talk about all things that we love. I recently just saw Jesus Revolution, and this is a fantastic movie. Starring Kelsey Grammer, Jonathan Romy, Joel Courtney, Kimberly Williams Paisley, Anne Grace Barlow, Julia Campbell, and Devin Franklin. This movie starts out with two stories that eventually converge with each other. You have the one story of Chuck Smith, played by Kelsey Grammer. He's a pastor at a small church in California, and his congregation is dwindling. Him and his wife are at home watching the TV. It's the news talking about the hippies that are out there. And at this point, all Chuck can see are a mass of aimless people who he says needs a bath, and probably was right. I mean, even the news had pointed out they were probably on drugs, and he was anti-drug, still was anti-drug until he passed in 2013. At the end of the movie, it goes over what happened afterwards and the real people behind who the actors are portraying. And he says, I'm going to paraphrase heavily here, if God brings me a hippie, I'll ask him what's going on. He says something like that. And that's what happens. His daughter, Charlene, is driving home and she sees a guy walking along the highway. Well, she offers him a ride and he accepts, and this is Lonnie. He's a hippie that did drugs, found Jesus, and got off of drugs. She brings Lonnie to her father. Chuck is caught off guard, understandably. He's like, I wasn't expecting this. I didn't really mean it. God works in mysterious ways. It's his way of saying, I'm going to make you eat your words, Chuck. So he gets to know Lonnie, and he brings him to church, and the congregation there is really standoffish towards Lonnie. But eventually, Lonnie becomes part of the congregation and brings in more and more friends, and it becomes this huge movement. And throughout the movie, you see actual footage of the news coverage from that time period. And now, a line from a Elton John song makes more sense. So they're called Jesus freaks. Now, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a derogatory term or just a term to classify them. But there's a line in an Elton John song called Tiny Dancer, and the line is, Jesus freaks out in the streets handing out tickets for God. That's exactly what they do in this movie. So there's context there that I didn't have before. It's pretty cool. The other story follows this young man named Greg. He is in the academy, or like an ROTC program to start, and he lives with his mom in a trailer by the beach, and his mom, unfortunately, is an alcoholic. They show flashbacks of his life where he more or less raised himself and helped his mom out. And one day, he's coming home from the academy, and he sees a beautiful girl on the other side of a fence in a high school. This is Kathy. She's a hippie. She calls him a square, and he says, I'm not really a square. And then she quotes, I can't remember the quote, but he recognizes a quote, and so they both read something, and that's their first connection. And they build a relationship through there, and they have different bad experiences with drugs. And through the rest of the movie, it's everyone discovering the powerful word of Jesus and God. And this movie made me cry, it made me laugh, it just made me feel great all the way around. I love this movie. I can't highly recommend it enough. If you're feeling down, this movie will lift you up. And I highly recommend you get this on 4K when it comes out on 4K. Those are my thoughts on Jesus Revolution. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.